Hey guys, this is Canfor15 and I'm back with another video for you guys, and this is actually a long time coming, one, because it's one of my first movie reviews in quite a while, and yeah, and here we go. This is a movie review of a very highly anticipated movie, um, a movie that literally is because of the last movie, this movie really is going to either get a lot of love or a lot of hate or a lot of flack or a lot of stuff like that. And this is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so look, I know I'm anyways, I made this channel way before or I made this channel after episode 8 came out. But if you want to know my stance on I guess the sequel trilogy to the original trilogy. My thoughts are this: Episode 7, I thought was great. I thought, okay, they're going off in the right direction. Then Episode 8 came around. I think I saw it like one time, or I didn't even think I saw it two times. I forgot, but you know, I really did not end up liking some of the things, and I know I kind of did it because of some other reviewers said they didn't like it, but when I actually sat in the movie theater and watched some scenes and saw the movie, I'm like, I really don't like this movie. So episode 9, directed by J.J. Abrams, comes in to try to fix the mistakes and the mishaps of episode 8. And my thoughts on the film, if you want to know, to be honest, you know, I've been hearing multiple views about this movie. There's some people that absolutely love it, some people that absolutely don't like it. But you know what? I'm gonna be right in the middle. There's some things I like, and there's some things that I didn't like. All in all, I'll say this. Episode 9 of Star Wars is a decent movie. Something that I can go down, watch, sit down, and, eat some popcorn, enjoy some moments here and there, and then other than that, get off my seat and just go watch something else. I thought Episode 9 was a decent film. It wasn't in terms of one of the best Star Wars films. Now, visually looking, yes, it is. But other than that, I thought it was a decent film. It wasn't like really good. It or great or phenomenal. I thought it was decent. I thought it was a I thought it was an average film, really, to be honest. I can see some people going into this film liking some of the things I might talk about in this video, while there's some of the things that people might hate about the film. You know, some of the things I liked, some of the things I didn't like. All in all, it was a decent movie. It was an average movie. You know, I'll say this: I liked it a lot more than Last Jedi. I'll tell you that. So I guess ranking wise, it's Episode 7, 9, and 8 for me. But other than that, it's like really stuff like that. And right now, I'm talking about my non-spoiler stuff. When I possibly hit around the 10-minute mark, that's when I'll get into spoilers, because really you can't talk about this film without talking about the spoilers. Um, Anyways, I guess we can talk about the performances of the actors. Adam Driver, I think, had a great job in this film. He was really, in some parts, like literally badass as Kylo Ren in this movie. Daisy Ridley as Rey. Um, I liked her character a lot. And I liked how she acted in this movie a lot. It was some really good acting by her. John Boyega, another good actor. He had I would say, a good performance. Oscar Isaac, obviously, he gets like one of the most shine of the new, I guess, three main characters of this trilogy. Than he ever had in Episode 7 and 8 combined. Like literally, like we get literally backstory about Poe in this film. That it's like it would have been interesting to hear about this stuff and stuff like that. Um, you know, um, and then all the other side actors along with it, and Ian McDermott, I think that's his name, who played the Emperor in this film. Yes, he's in this film. It's obvious from the trailers they gave away. I thought he had a phenomenal performance in this stuff like that. But you can look back to all the movies. You can look back to the movies he was in, and you could see that he is like a good, very good actor. Um, you know, the story, I guess I could say about the story. Like the movie, I thought it was all right. The story was all right. It has some issues here and there, but it's a decent story. It's still a little on the bad because J.J. Abrams, albeit tried his best to try to fix whatever issues um, Ryan Johnson had in Episode 8. He did the best he could with the material. So yeah, but the more I look at it at this film, and I think this is where I wrap up, or actually not. Visually stunning. Actually, before I talk about what I was about to talk about, visually wise, this is one of the best looking Star Wars films, of course. One of the best looking Star Wars. They've been in the last, two episodes, like because technology is so advanced now. Look at it. It's gorgeous. That's where I deserve it. That's where the movie deserves an A+. It was gorgeous to look at. Um, some of the fight scenes, they were decent. Again, another thing you're probably gonna be hearing me say a lot in this video of things were decent in this film. I thought it was a decent. There was decent action scenes in this. Certain things happen, and the action scenes, lightsaber duels, they're decent. Some moments in the lightsaber duels are cool, but other than that, that's really it. So yeah, but going back to what I was saying, this movie, even though it does take off some things, some elements from Avengers Endgame, like I mean, like even the final scene in this movie takes some elements, or the final battle takes some elements from the final fight scene in Avengers Endgame. The one thing I have to say is that this trilogy or whatever this movie should have did was this movie crammed a lot in, and personally, I was thinking this movie should probably be like a two-part movie. Like Jesus, have 10 episodes of Star Wars. They crammed a lot in this. I personally thought when there was some moments that like that would be a good place to end it, and then be like to be continued in episode 10. Um, you know, it looked like it should have been a two-part film because J.J. Abrams, to his credit, is trying to fix everything. Are like I said, are what most people are shocked is how is this movie not a 3 hour film? Which I thought Episode 9 would be a 3 hour film because it's the last movie in the Skywalker saga. So why not it be a 3 hour film? Um, I don't know why, but it is what it is. But overall, what I thought, and like I said, I started it off when I started the video. I thought Rise of Skywalker, it was a decent film. It was an average film, and in terms of grading, I think it's a just C film, just literally middle C, not C minus, not C plus, just a C. Average as you can get. And I guess my rankings, my rating for this is a 7 out of 10. You know, there was some things I liked in this film, while there was some things that I just didn't like. Now, that would have to be explained in my spoilers part, which is actually coming up in a few minutes. But yeah, I thought it was just a 7 out of 10. It's an average film. It's a film I could see people watching, and then maybe a month later they pick it up again and watch it. Otherwise, it'd be like a movie where it's like, you get on DVD, you watch it once you get off DVD, you put it back on your DVD shelf. Probably not touch it for like 2, 3, 4 months. Maybe depending on the person, up to a year. Um, but yeah. And I guess one more thing I gotta point out before I get to the spoilers. This movie made it to where it's like You can literally ignore Last Jedi, like literally ignore Last Jedi. You would only have to know that like Luke Skywalker is obviously dead, but and that Snoke is dead, and that Kylo Ren took over Supreme as Supreme Leader, but that's the only really things you have to know. But other than that, it's like you gotta freaking you can literally kick Last Jedi to the curb and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch episode 7 to episode 9, and you're not really missing anything. So yeah. Anyways, I'm at the 10-minute mark now, so I'm gonna do a quick cut, and then I'm gonna catch you guys out of here later. Hey guys, this is the spoilers discussion for the video. And basically, look, if you're still watching this video after I just cut, um, listen, if you don't care about spoilers right now for this movie, um, go right ahead to stay on the video and keep watching. But if you really care about the spoilers, then don't even bother watching the next couple of minutes of me talking about the spoilers, because you're just gonna only ruin yourself for the movie, or you might not underwhelm yourself. Um, but I will say this before you have to click off. One thing I'll have to say is this: look, don't listen to what other people say about this movie. So if you're before you're about to watch this movie, before anything, don't watch any reviews or any critics or anything, because you never know what could happen. I came to this thing with an open mind, like I said in my non-spoiler section. There were some things that I liked, there were some things that I didn't like, but at the end of the day, I said it was a better film than Last Jedi, and I thought it was a decent film. My opinion, I think I could get it on DVD, pick it up, watch it a few times, and then be on my merry way. But other than that, that's all I gotta say. So, anyways, if you are not gonna stay here for the spoilers, please click off, because I don't want you guys to get spoiled. And this is where we break off into the spoilers discussion. I'm mostly gonna be talking about the main points and stuff like that, but I used to do in my movie reviews a quick rundown of the entire movie, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be hopping around different plot points and stuff like that. So, anyways, we get to the opening crawl, and I guess this is kind of an issue I have. One thing is, the opening crawl says there was like some kind of message from the Emperor about threatening, the entire galaxy. And I'm like, um, when was this Emperor's message sent? Now, maybe they'll explain that in the comics or whatever they come out that ties in between episode 8 and episode 9. I don't know. I just found that I'm like, when was there an Emperor message in either of the last two movies? Huh? So, anyways, Kylo Ren goes down to the Sith's planet, because he gets this device that leads him there. If I don't remember some of the planets' names, which I totally forgot about some of the planets' names, as well as the device that got them to the Sith planet. Um, Look, there's so many things you have to freaking remember in this film. But anyways, he gets down to the Sith planet, and basically he runs into the Emperor. And yes, the Emperor is alive and well. So I guess episode 6 literally just, you know, whatever. Yeah, he didn't die by Darth Vader, please. And he didn't die in an explosion to the Death Star. To my knowledge, they really never. I don't know if I was hearing enough, but I didn't hear any explanation how he is still alive after all these years. How much time has passed over these years, and he's still alive. If you guys know, put that in the comment section so I can understand. Because I do not know how he's alive after all this time. When Luke, Han, and Leia are all like literally looks like they're like their late 50s to early 60s. Um, you know, don't know how they're still alive, but we'll never know. But okay. We also do get revelations that Snoke was a clone. So you're telling me. And look, anyway, regardless, I always thought Snoke should have been the big bad. Whatever happened in the end of this movie regarding to Palpatine, that should have been Snoke. They hyped him up in episode 7 like he was the next Emperor tier character. He was the next big final bad guy threat who was pulling all the strings all along. Only to find out that, guess what? It was him pulling the strings from the very beginning. He's the one who created Snoke and told him what to do and stuff like that. Only to, you know, make basically the resurrection of the Empire and just call it the Final Order. He was the one that created the First Order. It's, and this is one of the things that I kind of dislike about the movie. I'm like, okay, one thing I don't like about the movie, they brought the Emperor back. So one thing is this: Disney is obviously ripping off former past projects of Star Wars and obviously bring the Emperor to be the next big threat, when instead they could have not made their own big threat in Snoke and made him the literal big bad. You know, they have the whole tease of Kylo Ren, staying bad, staying good. Now, in the end, the movie eventually turns to the good side, which, yes, it was predictable and it was coming eventually. Um, but, it would have probably been much more of a powerful moment, maybe, even though it was still a good moment. If Snoke was the final villain of this film and stuff like that. Um, you know, it's just it's just some things in this film, some story points in this film kind of irritate me. Ray obviously are, well, one of the things is when they cut to Finn and Poe, and what they're doing is they get like this intel from a spy within the First Order, which later is revealed to be General Hawks. Which, when they reveal that he was a spy, I'm like, you know what? I'm not shocked that he's the spy, because ever since Episode 8, he looked like he hated Kylo Ren. Heck, in this movie, he's like, I don't even care if you win. He's like, I just want Kylo Ren to lose. I was like, well, okay. Anyways, yeah, they head back to the planet and stuff like that after doing some, hyper jumps and stuff like that. Rey's doing her training, and Leia's teaching her some things of the Force and other stuff, while Rey's also reading up on the books, Jedi books. They do come back. Finn, Poe, Chewbacca, and stuff like that. They come back. The Millennium Falcon's in literally shambles. Also during Rey's training scene, like, she had like some kind of crazy visions of her being, evil and stuff like that. Which literally was like the most talked about thing. I do think, even though the Rey character is somewhat of a Mary Sue character and it's somewhat of a more bad character, Daisy Ridley, did a phenomenal job acting. You can't hate on Daisy Ridley portrayal of the character. She did what she gave her best, what she was given, and stuff like that. Because you got to give credit to her. I thought her portrayal as Rey, her acting was great in all the films. Regardless of how you feel about the sequel trilogy. Anyways, what was I about to say? Any, anyway, she's training, and she's dealing with the convictions of going to the dark side or staying the light side, and that's kind of the whole gist of this movie, about her possibly turning evil. Something like, it's almost a little bit of a callback to Revenge of the Sith or something like that, or really Return of the Jedi, when they tried to get Luke to turn from good to evil. But I guess it was, they kind of did the kind of contrived plot point here. Um, but anyways, going back to what the Emperor did, the Emperor wants Kylo Ren to kill Rey, basically, essentially kill Rey, and do this stuff later on. Eventually, they need to find. Eventually, the Resistance understands that, yeah, the Emperor might be alive, so they have to go to, I forgot, this desert planet. Um, you know, they went to, where they had to go find this person that knows the location, or has the item to know the location of the Sith homeworld. And basically, basically they ran into Lando. Lando doesn't want to. He basically says, "Yeah, I don't do fighting no more." The Resistance, and Ray tells him, like, "We should for Leia." Another thing, we also see the Knights of Ren in this film. I'm just gonna say this: the Knights of Ren did literally next to nothing in this film. If you tell me they were one of the most hyped characters in this trilogy, they did nothing. They literally spy on Rey and her group, and then in the tail end of this film, they literally get obliterated by Kylo Ren or Ben Solo or whatever. Anyways, you know, things happen, things ensue. Um, Ray and Kylo have like some kind of talk and stuff like that, and he's trying to basically convert her over to the dark side and say that you should join me in killing Palpatine and stuff like that. Because of it, now Kylo knows her location on that planet. Things happen on that planet. Kylo comes down. They have a little interesting sequence where it looks like Chewbacca's captured. Um, you know, but then when Rey's trying to get him back down from the transport ship, Kylo's doing that, and then Rey unleashes some lightning powers. So I'm like, oh, lightning powers. I wonder, is she who I think she is? Um, I guess another thing is, I guess they also tease a little bit of the Rey Finn relationship, or the fact that Finn has feelings for Rey, because before all that stuff happens, they were singing through like basically quicksand, and basically Finn's like, Rey, I gotta tell you something. He's like, and obviously I'm like, you're gonna tell her like you like her. You've been trying to tell her this since episode 7 or something like that. And it's funny because I thought that was actually funny because every time Poe kept trying to bring it back up, he's like, "So what were you gonna tell Ray? Tell me right now." And he's like, "No, that can pass." I'm like, "Obviously, you got the hots for Ray." It's too bad because I think she had more of the hots for frickin' Kylo, anyways. Um, I'll just say this: they had a lot of frickin' Ray Kylo shipping moments in this film. If anything, if you hadn't seen in the past two films, they had like legit the most Kylo shipping in this film. I swear, all the interactive scenes between them, there was so many like literal shipping moments where you could ship them together, even though it does pay off at the end. I guess for the people that were shipping them, stuff like that. Basically they go to this so anyways they go to this other planet because for plot points 3C3PO cannot read cannot translate the Sith writing because that's against his memory banks or something like that, or he can't do it. So they go to this planet that Poe's been on, and this is where we get more character development from Poe. And I guess he had some girlfriend that I guess he betrayed or something. And they have a funny interaction with each other. At first I thought they were gonna attack him, like turn him over, but no, they didn't. Basically, they have this one. I guess some old friends of Poe fixed C3PO to basically say these things out loud, but even though at the cost of C3PO's memory banks being completely wiped, they end up doing it regardless. You know, and then they see that Kylo Ren's Star Destroyer is there. They go in there to go pick up Chewie, which I thought was stupid, but whatever. Um, they go in there. They basically end up getting caught. Well, Finn and Poe. That's because Rey, for the most time, all the time throughout this film, whenever she was with those two, she literally broke off with them. Is like because she was like feeling Kylo's presence basically in the area. Or looking to find her own stuff. She goes to find the dagger because the Sith dagger was taken away way back on that desert planet. Um, so we get another interaction and a pretty decent lightsaber fight between Kylo and Rey. And basically, this is where we get the revelation that Rey, this entire time, was a Palpatine. My reaction to this is this. When I heard that in the theater, I'm like, they said it. They made Kylo Ren say it so easy. Why did they just not say it in episode 8? this is one of my, like I said earlier in this spoiler discussion, I said I had some issues. This is another somewhat issue. So you're gonna say in episode 8 her parents were legit nothing. Episode 9, oh wait, her parents are the emperor. Her father was the emperor's son, and what is it? She is the emperor's granddaughter. And they say it in the most simplest ways too. Like there's no like what you can't be. No, what I can't. Or Ray doesn't like I can't be. No, she just they just say it like Kylo's like you're the emperor's daughter, your granddaughter. I'm like they wasted all this time in episode 8 saying her parents were basically nothing when really her parents were something. They just didn't want to give us the answers that she's the parent, that she's the emperor's, you know, grandparent, granddaughter. But then again, at the same time, we didn't even know the emperor would be in this film to begin with. So JJ Abrams just basically took the emperor on the fly, and so I guess some people's predictions on her being like related to the emperor in some ways. For people who predicted that, I guess good on you because you stuck to your morals and said, yeah, she is somebody who is a descendant from the emperor. So yeah, she is basically the emperor's granddaughter, all in all, which is I don't understand the reason why the emperor wants Kylo to kill her. Wouldn't you, if you were the granddaughter, if you were the grandfather of your granddaughter, wouldn't you want your granddaughter to join you in your rise to power or something like that? You know, I don't know. It was weird. And then at the end, he was like, "Strike me down, kill me." Basically, the same things he was telling Luke in Episode 6. And I'm like, hold up, you wanted to kill her, but now you want her to kill you? I I don't understand. Okay. Um. Anyways, they get out of the Star Destroyer, and Ray makes an interesting comment to Kylo in his face, and she's like, "I would have taken your hand if you were Ben," basically, which goes to show that she was totally in the hots for him. Which I kind of watched that scene. I'm like, oh, so you're just totally in the hots for him. You love him, basically. You could have just said that personally. Maybe he would have actually turned to the good side, and maybe Leia didn't have to die. Oh yes, Leia does die in this film because in the second fight they have, which I thought was a pretty interesting sequence. After Rey navigates the broken down Death Star, and then she literally fights herself, or a dark version of herself. Um, he picks up the thing and he smashes it, and then he basically tells her to also just be like, look, just come join me, basically, and rule the galaxy with me, which, he wanted to what? He might as well should have just see, and this is the one thing, he's like, we can and this is the one thing, I'm like, well, if you're gonna hint at a possible relationship, why not just already say like, rule with me as, king and queen of the first order. Take me, I'll take you as my wife or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm a ship like shipping too, but this shipping was obviously forced throughout the whole entire trilogy. Um, you know, they have a nice little duel on the water. Obviously she's freaking pissed off because he broke the only way she could get to Palpatine. And basically this is when Leia, I guess, does something almost similar to what Luke does, but ends up dying. And then yeah, dead, and then all of a sudden Ray stabs Kylo because he's in shock because he feels that his mother's dead. Ray feels it. She kills him. Or after he stabs him, she realizes it at the last second. Bless me. Um, and basically she heals him. Oh yes, Ray has healing powers in this, or there's healing powers in this. Because of I guess taking life essence or something like that. I think it's a pretty cool plot point that there's healing. Some people may say, well, that's just stupid, plot. That's just a stupid plot device. Yes, you can go either way. I liked it. I guess I understand. It's probably more of a Jedi thing to do, have, healing abilities, I guess, by using the Force. She heals Kylo. I'm like, okay. Um, and then, she just goes on a ship and flies, and she flies to the planet where she was, where she finds Luke Skywalker on. Um, anyways, basically Kylo Ren oh, actually, I forgot to point this out. Along with the other character that Poe met on that last planet I was talking about, they're on this new planet with the Death Stars at. The others run into these, characters, which Finn later finds out that these characters were used to be stormtroopers, basically, just like him. So, they have a nice thing. I'm just gonna say that those two characters, they were literally irrelevant to this plot because they were literally not even featured for this movie and they did not get no development whatsoever, which goes to show that they crammed a lot in this film, which I said should be probably a two-part film. Um anyways, and I also forgot to say this, Hux does die in this film because the old dude in the film finds out that he's the traitor and stuff like that. And then we also later find out the old guy, he's kind of the main culprit and he's been working with the emperor this entire time because he used to be on the emperor's ship. He used to serve under the emperor, and it's like, how are you alive yourself too, unless you were very young back all the way of the time, which I'm guessing. So, they have like a whole plan to get the fleet, and this new fleet called the Final Order basically has star destroyers that basically have planet killing weapons and stuff like that. So anyways, we go back to the planet. Anyway, before I talk about that, Han Solo appears and talks to Kylo Ren, which was a good scene, a heartfelt scene, seeing Harrison Ford when we thought we'd never see him in the Star Wars movies again after Episode 7. But it was a nice scene, and he basically converted Kylo Ren to the good side, all in all. Mostly because after his mom died, that's when he realized all he was doing was wrong from the very beginning. Um, I will say this: the Harrison Ford reveal did not get a pop in the crowd at all. I don't know. People were just like, "Oh my goodness, he's back," or something like that. But I would think to hear like, "Ah!" No, there was nothing there. Nothing. It's like, well, obviously you guys didn't care about it. It was still a cool reveal. He was telling Kylo like, find yourself, and you've always been Ben Solo. Then, so now he not Kylo Ren anymore. He's Ben Solo. So obviously, it was predictable that he would turn back to the good side. Knew he was going to do that with all what they were teasing, but you know, you see it coming. So, anyways, Ray talks to a ghost, a Jedi ghost in Luke, and basically tells all the sorts of stuff. And then they find Leia's. He shows her Leia's lightsaber, and we get a nice little flashback to a young Luke Skywalker and a young Carrie Fisher, or well, a de-aged, Mark Hamill and de-aged Carrie Fisher, rest her soul, um, and which is young Luke Skywalker and young Leia, basically training together, and it was a nice little scene. Now, I thought Leia always had a yellow lightsaber, but they give Rey the yellow lightsaber at the end of this film. But anyways, she has a blue lightsaber, and basically before Rey takes off to go to the Sith planet, she leaves not only a trail for the Resistance to follow, but she takes both lightsabers, which I'm like, oh, I see. She takes both lightsabers for her and Kylo when they show, or Ben when they show up. I'm just gonna call him Kylo. They show up. So anyways, the final climax of the scene, basically the resistant comes in. The space battle was cool. And near the tail end, it looks like all hope is lost. And then all of a sudden, everybody comes back, which was a huge thing. Plot point about this film was, even though, you know, it looks like they didn't receive the help or they didn't come to help, you never know. They'll more than likely hear your warning or hear your answer and come to it. And they did the whole thing like they did in Avengers Endgame. A lot of similarities of Avengers Endgame where they all were the entire fleet of basically backup comes in and basically assists the Resistance. That's basically something they took out of Endgame when all the heroes came back to life and they came out to help you know Captain America take down the rest of the army. Um, we get to the final climax of the scene where, like I said, Ray runs into her grandfather Palpatine, literally hung up by some metal bars or whatever, some freaking crane, and basically saying like, "Kill me, strike me down," blah 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 blah, and he kind of reveals the whole space battle going on. This is before the reinforcements come in, and he's seeing and he's showing her like, your friends are dying for nothing. Strike me down, kill me, and then my life essence, I will be within you, which was an interesting plot point or something like that. That basically his essence will be in her, so it's like, I guess it's a way for the Sith to live on forever. You just kill the person who, you know. I did like the scene because it looked like there was like a crowd of people in this thing watching this fight. Um, Ray eventually gives in. She's like, "Okay, I'll do it," and it looks like she's going to do it. Kylo Ren shows up. They have the little force connection again, and then which was that was a pretty cool transition. She puts the lightsaber behind her. He takes it, starts destroying the Knights of Ren. She destroys these Red Guard people. Um, and then after that, they come find each other, and then the Emperor's like, "Oh, so you dare defy me?" Basically, he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna take your life essence and make me younger again." So they do that, take the life essence. He literally holds them down, takes the life essence from them. They're literally like drained with whatever rest of their life they got left. And Palpatine looks like literally like Palpatine from almost Episode 6. It literally looks like Palpatine from Episode 6. Are well, skin feature wise, or literally are, if you want to look, closest looking one, Episode 3, in terms of how he looked. Um, same old yellow eyes with the red embroidering around his eyebrows and stuff like that. He unleashes this crazy electric strike on the entire resistant fighting ships, and then they all start falling. And then he kind of just pushes Kylo Ren to the side by saying, "It's like, there should be no more Skywalkers," or whatever. In that cool voice, he says it. Then Rey kind of starts to recover. And then she hears all the Jedi's from movies, from past movies, tell her like, "You can stop this." I was actually watching another review saying how stupid of when they did the Anakin Skywalker line of, return the balance to the Force like I did. And I have to agree. What the hell did he return the balance to? The dude's still alive. Don't don't get me started with this. Anyways, she gets up. She takes a lightsaber. The Emperor basically does the same thing like he was trying to do to Luke by electrocuting him. She's Power scaling is weird in this movie. Power scaling is weird in this movie. Uh, from what you saw what the Emperor could do in the first 6 films, you're telling me one character can get with one hand block his lightning strike with a lightsaber. Then she picks up the other lightsaber, does a cross combination between it, and basically is pushing the electric blows to the Emperor, resulting in him dying, and he dies, and she saves the day. But because of it, Rey dies in the process. I'm like, oh, so are they gonna have this where she dies and Kylo Ren just, somehow convinces the Resistance not to freaking take him as prisoner? So she dies. Finn can feel that she dies. Then Kylo, literally on his last limb, he comes over. He has Rey in his arms. I'm like, okay, here we go. Which is gonna be obvious. He's like, don't. I'm like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna give us the kiss. They're going to give us the kiss. And what is this? The kiss gonna be where where he kisses a lifeless body of Rey, and then she magically kisses him back, and she's back to life, which what I thought would have been stupid personally, but for some reason he knows now how to heal, so he heals her. Um, and this is where we get the Rey Kylo Ren shipping moment, Reylo shipping moment, and the long anticipated kiss of Kylo Ren and Rey. Sorry guys, I had to take care of something. I had to wrap for Secret Santa Christmas party I had to go to for my family. Anyways, like I was saying, we get the Reylo kiss. It was a good kiss. I'm not gonna deny that. It was literally the most anticipated kiss. Everybody's been waiting since, goodness gracious, so long. Finally, a kiss between a Skywalker and a Palpatine. I wouldn't be shocked if Daisy Ridley and Donald and Adam Driver hooked up. Okay, um, look, they did the kiss, and then Kylo Ren dies, and then he vanishes. So, is he a Force ghost now? I don't know. He dies, and it's like, oh, so she's not gonna bring him. Which I thought, what it's kind of predictable. Is like he was gonna give the last bit of her life essence, his life essence to her. What I thought was gonna happen is they were gonna kiss, they were gonna get up together, and they were gonna walk off together, and go back to the Resistance base, and live happily ever after together. You know, and she was gonna take his name as Skywalker. Only then the movie ends. There's finally peace amongst all nations now in Star Wars. So the Sith is dead for good. I guess so. Rey flies back to Tatooine, where Luke used to live at when he was younger. Um, she basically kind of sinks Luke's and Leia's lightsabers in the sand next to their place, I guess, as a resting memorial place. And then I guess she created her own lightsaber from, I guess, her old stick. And she turns it on, and it's a yellow lightsaber, so she has a yellow lightsaber now. So will she be the next master, or when she, I guess, hones her skills more? Will she, train, I guess, the next batch of Jedis? I wouldn't think it would be smart because you never know. You could have that odd character out that just goes evil. Um, you know, things like that. But other than that, which, okay, this is the last part of the film, which I thought was literally stupid. I saw it coming a mile away when the old lady asked him, like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Don't say Skywalker. Don't say Skywalker. Don't say Skywalker." And then Rey's like, "Rey." And she looks over to the side. There's a Force ghost of Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. And they're both smiling. And she says Skywalker. I was like, come on, please. You're not a Skywalker. Just say you're a Palpatine. I just feel like that's how you end it. You just say she's a Skywalker. I'm like, Rise of Skywalker. What? She takes the name now of the Skywalkers, even though she's not technically a Skywalker. In order for her to be a Skywalker, she would have to be married to Kylo Ren. Let me get that straight. And if I recall, he's dead. Now, maybe she could have said that if Kylo Ren was still alive. And I don't know, they get married or something, which would have happened if he still was alive at the end of the movie. But I saw that, I was like, huh? I was like, well, you just crapped on the entire freaking Skywalker name. Now I'm like, you just let a Palpatine just take the Skywalker name now. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this new trilogy now. I'm like, okay, I'm done. When the credits came, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm done. Yes, there were some things I complained about this movie, but there were some things that I did end up liking in this film. Some plot points were good in this film. Some were just shaky, but all in all, this is what made the movie an average to decent film. There was just some things that, and then the last part of the movie, if this entire sequel trilogy didn't piss you off even more, that last scene where Rey says, I'm Ray Skywalker. I swear, I could see somebody just the moment she says that, get up, get their popcorn, walk out of that theater because even me, I'm like, you're not a Skywalker. When in the actual hell? I thought she would just say Palpatine, and that's when the movie would end off. But the fact that she's a Skywalker, I was like, okay, that's it. Okay, we're done here. The story's been told. Move on, please, and thank you. Move on. You know, Disney obviously, regardless, is gonna cash grab off the Star Wars franchise. I personally think the only best Star Wars movie of this sequel trilogy was Episode 7, and it will always be the best out of the sequel trilogy. I'm just gonna say this. I won't be shocked if 2, 3, 4 years down the road they come back with the Poe, um, Ray, and Finn character as, I guess, a sequel trilogy to that on whatever next bad guy it is. You know, maybe they'll do the same thing. They're older, or they'll give it another decade till they freaking, or another 2 decades when all three actors are literally aging. Or they're in their 50s or something, and then they have a new generation for that generation. Disney would do that in the next into a decade or two. They would. It's Disney. Overall, this sequel trilogy has been a failure, a huge flop in my opinion. They started off really good with Force Awakens. Last Jedi came and was a letdown, and Rise of Skywalker comes in, tries to fix everything that Last Jedi does, but I would say it's slightly fixed and slightly made things better than Last Jedi. I still think overall it's a much better film than Last Jedi, but in terms of trying to fix things, doesn't do that much really. Literally, this was the new sequel and new trilogy. Woo, woo, woo. This new Star Wars trilogy was a flop. Now you have people saying, I wish these movies were never made to begin with. Disney, obviously, and I'm no huge Star Wars fan, but I am a Star Wars fan. Disney obviously crapped the bed because they didn't really respect what was given in the original trilogy. They really didn't respect, especially the Han, Luke, Leia characters in this entire trilogy. They kind of crapped the bed on all three of those characters from all three movies stretching in. Other than that, this Star Wars franchise for this trilogy has been a flop. Sometimes you wish you could go all the way back and redo it. It's too late now, but for that it's the end of the Skywalker saga. It's end of right now the end of the Star Wars movies as we know it. We know, well, I shouldn't say end of the Star Wars movies as we know it. We already know Disney's gonna make more Star Wars movies to make more cash grab movies and somehow tie something into something. We don't know if we're gonna get episode 10 that continues the story of Rey, Finn, and Poe against whatever evils that are scouring the galaxy. At this point, Disney will do anything to make a quick cash grab because guess what? Disney cannot make anything inventive on their own. That's the issue. And other than that, like I said, I give this film a 7 out of 10. It was a decent / average film. Nothing really special. Well, there was some special moments in this happened, but it's between some people what you like and what you don't like about this movie. I don't think when I came watching this movie, I'm like, yes, there were some things that I liked and there were some things that I didn't like. I thought the movie was decent. It was average, in my opinion. I'll take it. I came out of this theater feeling much better than I did out of Last Jedi. I'll say this. There were some things that still ticked me the hell off, like the last scene with Rey being called Skywalker. What is that supposed to be the headline? Rise of Skywalker because now she takes the Skywalker name. Well, then you just effectively killed the Skywalker saga films. For all we know it, then. Other than that, I guess it kills the purpose of Anakin Skywalker being the chosen one, because I guess she did what Anakin couldn't. Other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. This has been Cam for 15, and this has been your Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker review. If you like the video, leave a like or dislike or whatever. I don't care. Also, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more content regarding to me reviewing movies. I also talk anime, and I also talk sports regarding to really the Chicago Bears. But other than that, that's all. Also, leave in the comment section what you thought if you've seen this movie. What were your thoughts on this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you in the middle about it? Was there some things that you just found that were legit stupid? You know, stuff like that. And also, if you do see this video, if you can, could you actually please in the comment section put how the hell Palpatine is still alive? Because I still don't know how he's alive. I think another other reviewer before I watched this said that's the dark side of the Force kept him alive. I don't know. There's really no explanation. They didn't explain how Palpatine is still alive. I just saw an old Palpatine looking like he's on his last freaking limbs of life. He almost was like, whatever. I'm gonna get out of here. This video is almost an hour. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video, probably tomorrow for Chicago Bears recap. Other than that, peace out, guys. Hope you guys have a great day.